afternoon. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jared Horak. This is our second of two videos that we're doing for Kentucky Derby prep races. We did the Louisiana Derby a few minutes ago, and now we're going to jump into the Florida Derby. Both of these races are part of our $25,000 tournament on DerbyWars.com, and I'm joined by my DerbyWars.com and HorseRacingNation.com colleague, Brian Patterson.
Jared, it looks like if you're going to take down the $10,000 top prize at DerbyWars.com, you're going to need to have at least one of the winners of the Louisiana Derby or the Florida Derby.
And we could maybe be looking at a price horse, especially in the Louisiana Derby, possibly in this race, depending on how it shakes out. But I can see why people would go for a price in this Florida Derby.
Right, you've got the juvenile champion breaking from the rail, and it seems like Rosie's got one way to go, and that's straight to the front.
Yeah, definitely, because Merit Man, a sprinter, is stretching out in here, and probably his only chance is to get out there and get loose, and with Shanghai Bobby in there, especially on the rail, that could be tough.
Could you see Kent DeSormo, if we get a stumble from Shanghai Bobby making the lead and riding his way back into the Kentucky Derby, the three-time winning jockey?
And we've seen stranger things happen,
right?
And especially at Gulfstream Park, where we know speed is favored. And this is the 12th race at Gulfstream, so watch the card, and if it looks like speed's holding, we could maybe be looking for a surprise.
Right, it could be an odd result, and it looks like Shanghai Bobby, barring a poor beginning, will make the start from the inside post. Merit Man will go out and chase him, and sitting right behind him is going to be your selection. It's My Lucky Day.
Yeah, I think It's My Lucky Day. He's going to sit that same kind of trip that he sat in the Holy Bull. The pace was quick that day. They were going 23, 46, 110. I think they're going to be going at least this fast in this event. He sat a length back in third. He'll probably do the same thing. He's going to stalk the pace right on the outside of the two front runners. Take the lead turning for him. It's just a question of does he want to go a mile and an eighth, and he is coming off of a 9-week layoff.
Right, he looks on paper to be the fastest horse, and he's definitely the one they'll have to beat.
And he needs the Derby points. He only has 10 points, qualifying points for the Kentucky Derby. He really needs a top 2 finish here.
Right, it's just crazy to think that this horse has been, number 1 or number 2 in most minds all the way. With if something crazy happens here, he may not even make the race.
It would be crazy, and he is the fastest horse. He's earned some figures, nice figures in his last two. He's not in my Derby top 10. I'm not considering him a major Derby contender at this point. I think he's more like a Florida, a Gulfstream Park specialist, maybe up to a mile and a 16th, maybe a mile and an eighth on this track. But I think in these longer races against better competition, he could struggle. But I think he's the winner here just based on the trip. Who do you like in this race?
I'm going to go with Frack Daddy. We're going to draw a line through that Holy Bull race where he was coming off the shelf, grabbed a quarter at the start, and was running against a track bias that did not favor him, against horses like It's My Lucky Day that were sharp and ready to go that time. He's been working very well for Ken McPeak, and he's got the bottom to finish, whereas the top 2 choices in here might hit a brick wall when they're in the stretch.
Yeah, they might, and I don't blame you for picking Frack Daddy here. He was my pick in the Holy Bull. Yeah, exactly. You get 20 to 1.
I'm not going to feel bad if he loses.
No, I'll throw him in for sure in exotics, and I'd love to see him do well. He used to be in my Derby top 10. I dropped him out after his disappointing effort in the Holy Bull, but he had legitimate excuses there, and hopefully if he can run a decent race and he's healthy, maybe he'll qualify for the Derby in this spot. What do you think of Shug McGahee's entrant, Orb?
He hasn't shown me enough. I know he won the Fountain of Youth. He ran down Violence, who a lot of people really liked. Never really cared for Violence. So Orb going to have to show me something here. Yeah,
he's going to need pace help for sure. The thing about him is he's already in the Derby. He's got his 50 points. He won the Fountain of Youth. Right. They don't want to empty the tank in this race for sure. I think they would be happy if he sat back, made a late run, finished in the top 3. The thing I do like about him is he did win in a mile and an eighth. He overcame a slow pace and at Gulfstream Park, which is not easy to do. The closers don't do as well there. And he got all kinds of pace help last time. It was a complete setup, and he was able to get the job done. So he can run well regardless of the pace scenario. But he's going to take too much action, and as we said, he's already qualified for the Derby. So I think they're looking for him to peak on the first Saturday in May, not late in March.
And that's an important angle to remember. Sometimes there are things you can't really see on paper, like Jared's just told us. They don't want to run their Kentucky Derby race at Gulfstream Park, so
anybody else?
I think that was what you will.
Anybody else in here that you would even consider to throw into at least your exotics?
I think Pick of the Litter is a very interesting horse. It's just so hard for me to pick a maiden winner that only beat 3 other horses last out. But, down the road, this might be a very nice animal. I wouldn't be totally shocked if he ran huge here, but 6 to 1, not enough.
Dale Romans has another horse in here too, Pontiff, and he's also a maiden, so he's going to run 2 maidens in here and hope that if he maybe finishes second, he could qualify
Right.
for the Derby with one of them.
I think the letter did win at the distance, though.
Yeah, that does help. And speaking of that, Indy's Illusion has run at a mile and an eighth now. In his last 3 races, he's gone 9 furlongs, and he just missed by a neck last time. That was his career best number. So at the course and distance, he's coming off of a career top. He's going to obviously have to move forward again to compete here, but he can handle the distance. He's going to sit at least a decent trip within striking range throughout, and not the worst stab to throw into your trifectas and superfectas.
Yeah, he could get in there for third and help it pay.
So how are you going to play this race?
Frack Daddy to win. I mean, he's 20 to 1, and I don't want a situation where I played the trifecta and he won and paid $44 and I didn't get anything. You know, 20 to 1 is more than enough. Just going to take that.
I think I'm going to make a small shot here. It's My Lucky Day's my top choice, but I'm going to throw maybe Indy's Illusion underneath. I may use him in third, using all in second, hoping for a price. Maybe throw some supers. I'll definitely use him. Frack Daddy, I picked him last time. You like him. I think I have to throw him into my exotics at least.
Right.
That'll wrap up our 2 videos. We still have more Kentucky Derby preps coming. We have the Wood Memorial next week, the Santa Anita Derby. So we're going to be back doing more of these videos for sure.
Right, it'll be the Todd Pletcher and Bob Baffert show next week. Might be the Todd Pletcher Bob Baffert show this week.
That's true. That'll wrap up this week's video. Don't forget to go over to derbywars.com if you want to play in that big $25,000 tournament. Until next week, good luck at the races.